Hello, everyone. Welcome to a Knight-Hennessy Scholars information session. I'm excited to see so many prospective Knight-Hennessy Scholars applicants interested in learning more about our program here today. And on behalf of the entire Knight-Hennessy team, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Rachel Rosten. I am the Director of Admission on the Knight-Hennessy Scholars team. My hope is that this information session will shed some light on the Knight-Hennessy Scholars process that will be helpful for you and get you excited about what is to come in the future. If you're here watching this information session today, I imagine that you are seeking to be an inspiring leader. You are seeking to address some of our world's most important and complex challenges, and you appreciate that being an expert in your chosen field is an important first step towards your goals, but perhaps is only the beginning. And if you're on this call, you might recognize that leadership in the modern world requires cross-cultural perspective and expertise across disciplines. I will spend the next 15 minutes or so sharing about why Knight-Hennessy Scholars exists at Stanford, who we are, what we do, and where and how we do it. And then I'll spend a few minutes overviewing the admissions process and how you could apply to join us if this is something that's of interest to you in the future. So let's start exploring why we exist at Stanford University. Here you can see the vision and mission of Knight-Hennessy Scholars. Our vision is to cultivate a growing global community of visionary, courageous, and collaborative leaders committed to creating positive change in the world. And our mission is to select and support a multicultural and multidisciplinary cohort of scholars and prepare them for leadership roles in academia, industry, government, nonprofits, and the community at large. The program was founded in 2016 by John Hennessy, Stanford University's 10th president. John recognized the need for greater leadership across a variety of sectors in our society and created a graduate level scholarship in the hopes of helping to address this systemic issue over time. Phil Knight, who is a graduate of Stanford's Business School and also the co-founder of Nike, provided the founding donation for the program, hence the name Knight-Hennessy Scholars. Each year, we aim to select up to 100 graduate students from across Stanford's 7 graduate schools. We fund for up to 3 years of your graduate study, and we, again, are equipping you for leadership roles in academia, industry, government, nonprofits, and the community at large. We are very intentional at Knight-Hennessy about how we define and cultivate leadership within our scholar community. Our leadership development program has 3 goals. We are looking to grow your multicultural perspective, to prepare you to drive meaningful results, and to deepen your commitment to a greater good. We also identify 9 traits that we strive to reinforce in our community and 6 behaviors around which we design our programming. This program, named the King Global Leadership Program, or KGLP for short, includes lectures, projects, and experiences designed to reinforce the goals, behaviors, and traits that are captured here in our leadership model. Knight-Hennessy Scholars is a supplemental and complementary program to your graduate studies at Stanford. It's important to note that we are not a degree-granting program at the university, so you cannot simply apply to Knight-Hennessy alone. All of our scholars also apply and are admitted to a Stanford graduate degree program, which again deepens your domain expertise in your chosen field of study. Knight-Hennessy builds on this domain expertise by giving you the opportunity to learn and to grow alongside scholars who represent a broad range of disciplines and cultures. Now I want to share a little bit more about who are the future global leaders that we speak about at Knight-Hennessy Scholars. Our first cohort of KHS scholars joined us in 2018. That was a group of 51 scholars. Our most recent cohort is 90 scholars, and we are building towards that steady state size of 100 scholars each year, all of whom, when they start with us in the fall, are starting a new Stanford graduate degree program. These numbers that you see here reflect our 6 matriculated cohorts. Our 7th cohort of 90 scholars will matriculate this fall. Knight-Hennessy Scholars, as mentioned previously, is a multicultural and multidisciplinary community. 44% of our scholars hold a non-US passport from 68 countries in total. We've enrolled scholars from over 150 undergraduate institutions, both within the United States and around the world. We are also a multidisciplinary community. We've enrolled scholars in 96 different degree programs across all 7 of Stanford's schools. 39% of our scholars are doctoral students, 45% are pursuing professional degrees, and 34% are master's degrees. You can see the breakdown here on the left of this slide across the 7 schools at the university. Some Knight-Hennessy Scholars are pursuing a dual or a joint degree, and those students are eligible to apply for KHS. Roughly 10 to 20% of our scholars choose that route each year. So we have a fantastic community. What do we do when we come together? I spoke earlier about our King Global Leadership Program, which aims to strengthen your leadership traits and behaviors. The King Global Leadership Program includes 3 different types of programming. The first is core offerings. Next, I'll talk about electives, and then lastly, community events. Here you can see core offerings. These are recurring events that bring together the full Knight-Hennessy community. Beginning with this fall 2024 cohort, these events that you see here are required for all Knight-Hennessy Scholars. It's really a commitment that boils down to a once-a-week commitment, 2 events that take place once a quarter, and then an event that takes place once a year. So first, town hall. Town hall is something that happens once a quarter. It's a 90-minute town hall. Our community gathers the first week of each academic quarter, and it's an opportunity to collectively preview the quarter ahead, to talk about future programming, and to continue to build connections at the start of each quarter. Each week, first-year scholars participate in a core storytelling sequence during all 3 quarters of their first year. It's an interactive program that teaches important communication skills and provides an opportunity to practice those skills while learning about each other as a community. These talks cover everything from the pros and cons of homeschooling to gender discrimination in the media to eating a dozen donuts for philanthropy. It's a really wonderful time to get to know fellow cohort members. Also, once a quarter, in addition to town hall, is the McMurtry Leadership Lectures. These include a presentation or a talk by a very experienced leader, followed by a discussion or an open Q&A with scholars. Scholars who have a passion for the topic or an interest in the topic introduce the speaker and moderate the conversation. It's a great opportunity to practice those storytelling skills that you're learning in the storytelling sequence. Each year, we invite 3 McMurtry Leadership Lectures, 1 a quarter. Past McMurtry Leadership Lecture speakers include philanthropist Melinda Gates, author Isabel Wilkerson, economist Raj Chetty, Nobel laureate Dr. Francis Arnold, astronaut Ellen Ochoa, former Secretary of State George Shultz, former Secretary of Defense General Jim Mattis, the former President of Chile, Michelle Bachelet, author and professor of higher education leadership, Dr. Anthony Jack, former Vice President Al Gore, Malala, who you see pictured here. So the list goes on. It's a wonderful opportunity to hear about the journey of someone who's had a long leadership trajectory or who has had considerable impact in a space. Lastly, in the core programming is quarterly retreats. These happen typically once a year. We host 3 local weekend retreats each year to build community and a shared culture. Half of the programming at these retreats is focused on leadership development. The newly arriving cohort attends the fall retreat, typically held at Asilomar Conference Grounds in Monterey in California, right along the coast. So it's a really, really beautiful place for a retreat. And then scholars in their 2nd or 3rd year have the opportunity to attend a winter retreat, typically held in the Santa Cruz Mountains, and a spring retreat, which takes place at Fallen Leaf Lake, which is a small lake right next to a larger lake that more people have heard of, Lake Tahoe. Okay, next I want to move on to talk about the elective offerings. Elective events focus on specific themes within our community. Scholars who are interested in these topics may attend. They are not required as part of the leadership development program, but these are offered as opportunities that scholars get to pick and choose what they want to attend. Curiosity Corner usually happens every other week. We invite experts from across campus and the community to share their experiences and knowledge with scholars in a really informal sort of lunchtime setting in a small group, usually 15 to 20 people. The sessions might include a short talk or a prompt for scholars to discuss or just simply a casual conversation. Examples include a robotics expert challenging scholars to think about how robots will change our daily lives, a bioethicist challenging scholars to consider the consequences of gene editing, or an educator asking scholars to consider the role of schools in ending economic disparity. Next on the elective front is Keystone Projects. In the fall quarter, every year, scholars pitch ideas for a meaningful project and form Keystone Project teams. Again, this is optional. Projects have focused on really interesting and meaningful topics like criminal justice reform, climate change, healthcare, education, affordable housing, just to name a few examples. And the Knight-Hennessy team supports the projects by providing professional mentors and financial support for each team. And then in the spring quarter, teams share what they learned and accomplished at the annual Keystone Project Showcase. And these projects are a wonderful opportunity for scholars to tackle a bold project and to collaborate across disciplines and to hopefully achieve some meaningful results over the course of the year. Last and certainly not least on this slide here is global travel study. Scholars receive exposure to different cultures through the global travel study program. Each scholar is funded for one trip. Stanford faculty lead and curate these trips, which last roughly 1 week and take place during breaks in the academic calendar. Each scholar may take one global trip again during their time in the program. We have gone all over the world. We have been to Costa Rica. We have been to Chile. We have been to Germany and Norway, Mongolia, India, Jordan, Israel and Palestine, South Africa. We are going to Japan and New Zealand next year. We're going back to India this winter. So it's a really extraordinary time for a small group of scholars to come together and again, have exposure to a different culture. Next, community and scholar-driven events. The KHS team brings scholars together for community events like Friendsgiving, which happens the week before Thanksgiving. We have a fall concert, we have story nights, we have a completion ceremony in the spring each year that honors our scholars who've completed their time in the Knight-Hennessy program. We have recurring community meals throughout the year. There are also opportunities for scholars to serve on various committees that help to shape the Knight-Hennessy experience. And we also give scholars the opportunity to host scholar-driven events throughout the year. Scholars design and lead these events. They may apply to receive funding for events that hopefully enrich our community and strengthen our shared culture. Some scholar-driven events are focused on deepening our understanding of an important topic. And some are a bit more sort of social and introspective in nature, like Deep Dive, where scholars interview each other about their life journey in front of other scholars, or another fantastic scholar-driven event is KH Geographic, where our international scholars share information, stories, food from and about their home countries. So now you've heard why we exist, you've heard who we are, what we do. Now I want to talk a little bit about where all of this happens. Denning House, that you see pictured here on the left, is our convening hub for Knight-Hennessy Scholars. It's not a residence hall, but it is a home in many ways for scholars. It's a dedicated space for the community, for our programming, for building relationships and exploring ideas with your fellow scholars. The arts are an incredibly integral component of Denning House. Works of art are displayed inside and outside of the building, and we invite featured artists to visit Denning House and speak with scholars about the role of the arts in leadership and society. Denning House is located on Stanford's broader campus in California, where you will live and study as a graduate student. Stanford has a graduate community of just over 9,000 graduate students studying across more than 125 graduate degree programs across 7 graduate schools. Graduate students do typically live on campus at Stanford, which means that our scholars engage with each other and the broader community, both inside and outside of the classroom. Stanford's campus, for those who are not familiar, is located in California, south of San Francisco, right in the heart of Silicon Valley. And the culture of innovation at Stanford that has helped to create the conditions over the course of the 20th century that have allowed Silicon Valley to emerge as the global innovation hub that we know it to be today. And at Stanford, I think you'll find a spirit of comfort with ambiguity, a strong bias towards action, a willingness to take risks, all of these things which I think contribute to a sense of optimism and belief in the Bay Area that we can move things, change things, make things possible. Next, I want to talk about how we are able to make this program possible. With founding gifts totaling more than $750 million, Knight-Hennessy Scholars is the largest fully endowed graduate fellowship in the world. The generosity of this endowment enables us to select and support scholars from a wide range of socioeconomic backgrounds and offer all scholars equal access to funding, leadership development programming, and our physical space of Denning House. As a Knight-Hennessy Scholar, you receive financial support that fully covers tuition and any associated fees for up to 3 years of graduate study based on the degree program that you were admitted to at the time of your selection as a scholar. If your degree program exceeds 3 years at Stanford, then you will explore funding options with the Stanford department that offers your degree. In addition to tuition and fees, you'll also receive a stipend for living and academic expenses and a travel grant to cover one annual economy class ticket to and from Stanford. First-year scholars receive a relocation and technology stipend to offset expenses of arriving at Stanford when you begin your graduate education. And then second and third-year scholars may apply for supplemental funds supporting academic enrichment activities. How can you apply to join us if this is something that is of interest to you in the future? Let me take some time now to speak about admission, our criteria, our application, and our admission timeline. At Knight-Hennessy Scholars, we welcome applicants from across the world. We have no requirements or quotas by country or world region. There is no formula for admission, and there are no scores, achievements, or stories that automatically qualify you for admission. Instead, the Knight-Hennessy application is an invitation to show how you demonstrate the qualities we seek in ways that are unique and distinct to you. However, we do have two eligibility requirements for all applicants. First, you must submit two separate applications at a minimum, one to your Stanford graduate degree program and one to Knight-Hennessy Scholars directly. The applications and deadlines are different, so I encourage you to plan to meet the requirements and deadlines for both applications. Second, you must have earned your first undergraduate degree within the last 7 years. For those of you who are applying in the fall of 2024, to join the 2025 cohort that starts at Stanford in the fall of 2025, you must have earned your undergraduate degree, your first undergraduate degree, or whatever is the equivalent of a U.S. bachelor's degree, in 2018 or later. For applicants who have served in their country's military after their undergraduate studies, we offer a 2-year extension on this eligibility window. Applicants who meet these two eligibility requirements may be considered for admission. From this group, we select scholars who most strongly demonstrate our 3 evaluation criteria. Here you can see that our evaluation criteria are independence of thought, purposeful leadership, and civic mindset. I want to share a little bit more about each of these criteria. The first is independence of thought. We are seeking visionary thinkers, those who are curious, open-minded, analytical, those who are eager for cross-cultural perspective, and those who are genuinely excited to boldly and creatively address our world's important challenges. The second is purposeful leadership. We are seeking courageous leaders who are ethical, decisive, resilient, driven to achieve meaningful results, and motivated to inspire others to effect positive change at scale. Lastly, civic mindset. We are seeking collaborative community members who are humble, empathetic, trustworthy, oriented to act in service of others, and deeply passionate about contributing to the greater good. You demonstrate these 3 criteria in your Knight-Hennessy Scholars application. And we designed the KHS application with 2 goals: to help you better know yourself, what you've done, who you are now, what you aspire to do in the future, and also to help us know you better. So now I want to talk a little bit about preparing to apply. The Knight-Hennessy Scholars application is open as of June 1st of 2024 and is due on October 9th this year for those applying in fall 2024 to join the 2025 cohort. The KHS application deadline in October is the same for all applicants, regardless of the Stanford degree program to which you plan to apply. In the weeks and months prior to the October deadline, you'll need to prepare and submit 5 components of the KHS application: your online application, your 1-page resume, your transcripts, your 2 recommendation letters, and your set of short answers and essay. You will submit a completely separate application to your Stanford graduate degree program. Unlike the KHS application, which has a uniform deadline for everyone, the Stanford application deadlines vary by program. For example, the MBA application is typically due in September, the MD application in October. Applicants to the School of Education who are also applying to Knight-Hennessy typically apply by November. Most other programs have an application deadline in December, in early December. It's important for you to check with your desired program to confirm its deadline for Knight-Hennessy applicants, which may be earlier than its regular application deadline for those who are not applying to Knight-Hennessy Scholars. It's also important to check with the program to confirm its application requirements. Some materials may be identical across the 2 applications, like your transcripts. Others may be very similar, like your resume. However, you may or may not want to ask the same recommenders to write letters for these 2 applications. You will certainly want to write different essays because the questions are likely different to address the different application prompts. And your program may require additional materials that the KHS application does not. Please note that if your Stanford program requires test scores, you must also report your unofficial test scores to Knight-Hennessy. Ultimately, we encourage you to research, plan ahead, and to craft distinct applications that demonstrate your distinct qualifications for your program and for Knight-Hennessy Scholars. So now let's overview what happens after you apply. From October to December, the Knight-Hennessy team reviews each eligible application in its entirety. We identify approximately 500 who most strongly demonstrate our selection criteria. In January, we invite this group to record and submit a required video statement. This happens on a rolling basis in January, in which you have 2 minutes to respond to the prompt, teach your cohort something. It's a very short video. It's just an opportunity for us to get to know you in a slightly different way. It is not any more or less important than the larger application. We are just asking for it a little bit later on. From this group of 500, we will select approximately 180 finalists this year, whom we invite to participate in the finalist experience. The finalist experience consists of Immersion Weekend, which is a 2 to 3 day immersive weekend experience that takes place on Stanford's campus in February or March, and is usually a highlight of the application experience. Immersion Weekend allows you to learn more about Knight-Hennessy and for us to learn more about you. Part of the finalist experience includes an individual interview and a group interview. Typically, the group interview happens during Immersion Weekend in person, and the individual interview will happen online before Immersion Weekend. Knight-Hennessy Scholars in your Stanford degree program evaluate your candidacy concurrently but separately. So the Stanford degree program conducts its own review of your degree program application and communicates its admission decision to you on its own distinct timeline that is separate from Knight-Hennessy Scholars. Depending on the program, you may receive your Stanford admissions decision as early as December or as late as April. Some Knight-Hennessy Scholars finalists have already been offered admission to their Stanford program, while others are still waiting to hear from the admissions team at their graduate degree program. I want to pause and address 2 common questions. The first question that is very common is, can you be admitted to Knight-Hennessy and not to your Stanford degree program? The answer is no. You must receive an offer of admission from your Stanford degree program eventually in order to be a Knight-Hennessy Scholar. Knight-Hennessy cannot admit you to Stanford. For this reason, we check in with Stanford programs at regular intervals to verify which candidates have applied and who remain competitive for admissions to Stanford. We continue to advance only those Knight-Hennessy applicants whom the department verifies are eligible and continues to be competitive. The second common question we receive is, can you be admitted to your Stanford degree program and not to KHS? The answer is yes. It happens every year that some applicants are not selected for Knight-Hennessy, but they still receive an admission offer from the Stanford degree program. Many of these applicants will come to Stanford and enroll and be a part of the fantastic graduate student community here. If you're interested in Knight-Hennessy, please apply confidently with the knowledge that your Knight-Hennessy application does not preclude or negatively impact your chances of admission to Stanford. In mid-March, Knight-Hennessy will select and name our scholars who have until early May to accept our offer. And then we announce our scholars to the world in May, and we welcome you back to Denning House in September. So to recap this information session, we've answered several questions about Knight-Hennessy, why we exist, who we are, what we do, where and how we do it, and how you can apply to join us. I hope we've successfully shown you how Knight-Hennessy may serve to accelerate your journey to inspiring and impactful leadership. I will end with one final thought. It is a quote from our founder, John Hennessy, about the vision for Knight-Hennessy Scholars. John said, "We want to create something enduring that would be unlike anything else currently available to the world's brightest minds, and that would make the biggest impact possible towards solving global challenges." This is my hope, our hope for all of you who are listening to this information session. I hope that you will seek an experience unlike any other in your graduate education. I hope you seek access to the world's brightest minds. I hope that you will strive to make the biggest impact possible towards solving global challenges. I hope you will consider doing all these things with us as a Knight-Hennessy Scholar. So if you are excited about what you heard today and want to continue learning more, I invite you to stay in touch. You can connect with us at future events. We'll be hosting many more events in the weeks and months to come. You can attend as many online information sessions as you would like, although we do not track that. There is no advantage to attending events or not beyond just gaining more information. I do highly recommend for those who are applying this fall to register for at least one online application workshop. These begin in July and extend through usually early October each year. We walk through the application and do some workshopping exercises to help you think about some pieces of the application. For applicants this year, we also host Q&As with admission team members, where usually a couple weeks or a month or two before the application is due in October, you can hop onto a Zoom call and ask us questions and answers in just a basic Zoom call like this. And lastly, Q&As with scholars are a great opportunity to hear directly from scholars themselves. And lastly, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for taking the time to watch this information session. Thank you for taking the time to learn more about Knight-Hennessy Scholars. I hope you go forward from this conversation more enthusiastic about Knight-Hennessy, more confident to learn more, to potentially apply in the future, and more motivated to keep in touch with all of us and who really want to help you on your journey to inspiring leadership. So take care and have a great day. Bye, everyone.